Hey Trekkies, it's summer, and you know what that means. It's time for Creation Entertainment's Trek to Las Vegas 2025. This year, the convention has been expanded to a 5-day schedule, August 6th through the 10th at the Rio Las Vegas Hotel. Meet all your favorite Star Trek pros in one place, and hey, maybe you swing by Vic's Lounge and you see our panel. It's a great way to meet people in person and have some fun with your fellow Trekkies. If you can't make it to Star Trek Las Vegas, of course, there's also other events around the country this year. Trek to Orlando, August 23rd through 24th. There's the Trek to New Jersey, September 6th and 7th. And finally, the Trek to Chicago, November 22nd and 23rd. We're looking forward to meeting as many of you as we can this year. So make sure that you get ready to trek to Las Vegas.
Is this thing on? Hello, hello. Welcome to Open Pike Night, the podcast where your personal logs are the prime directive. I'm your host, John T. Bolds, here tonight with some amazing callers on stage to discuss the original series episode, What Are Little Girls Made Of? A title that may be a little confusing when you really get down to it, but I am, of course, joined by my co-hosts, the man who will absolutely break off that shape stalactite just because it's funny, Jesse Bailey.
It's also the kind of episode title that when you Google, you're like, should I Google this in a different browser that like other people in my house aren't using? Like, no, I can explain it. And to be clear, if a stalactite lasts for more than 4 hours, you need to seek medical attention immediately.
Yes, you do. And the man who I've known so long, I knew him back when he was just a pile of green foam and moss. Cameron Harrison, host of Green Shirt and Newbie's Trek to the Next Generation. And tonight, like we said, we are here to discuss a original series episode that we feel ties into Strange New Worlds. Not only do we have several of our main cast and crew members with Spock, Uhura, Chapel, I mean, one could even argue Jim Kirk, but this is the episode dealing with Chapel's fiance, Roger Korby, who we do know has been cast and already has filmed for season 3 of Strange New Worlds. So we figured let's go back and visit the episode that introduced us to Roger Korby and gave us, I believe, more information on Christine Chapel than any other episode in the original series.
And I gotta say, John, good call, because I think when we first talked about this, you said, isn't this a Sam Kirk episode? And I was like, I don't think it is, but we get all of the information relevant to Sam Kirk in this episode.
Yes, we do. Yeah.
And it's way more development than he ever gets on the actual show. So that was a really good call. And I'm actually pretty glad that Dan Janot, who plays Sam Kirk in Strange New Worlds, got such a blank slate to work with. Because, I mean, come on, we've all fallen in love with Sam Kirk at this point.
And apparently his wife and 3 children are going to love him at some point in the future, too, from where we've seen him in Strange New Worlds.
I've got comments on that, but I will wait till we get there.
Let's start off the conversation. This was my first time ever seeing this episode. I have talked before how I'm not a huge, like, diehard TOS watcher, but I gotta say, having watched this episode, this might be, of all the TOS episodes I've seen, this might be my favorite, and not necessarily for the story, but man, they shot the hell out of this episode, and technically, this episode is incredible. I very much, I was like, wow, I didn't ever expect to enjoy a TOS episode this much, but here I am.
I am gonna be that guy and implore you to watch literally the rest of TOS, because not just because I'm that guy, but partially because you will see this more frequently than you think. Like, I completely agree, though. There were a lot of shots in this where I was like, why does this look better than most TV that I watch now?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Their use of handheld cameras was really impressive.
Yeah.
The framing on a couple of these shots is like straight out of film school, but in the
going
best
down
way
those
possible.
stairs through the caves and stuff. I was like, man, this is really competently shot. This is fantastic.
And specifically, the shot where there are two Kirks in the same frame talking to each other, I'm like, this is 100% seamless.
It was fantastic. I don't know if they went back and if the retouching fixed that or if that's how they shot it, because damn, that was impressive. Looking at it, I'm like, I cannot see the division line here. I know it's there. Obviously, we know it's there, but this is so much better. You don't have that strange off-light matte version of one of them that you got in the 80s and 90s when they did this. I mean, TNG didn't do it that well.
And to be super fair, there are a lot of times TOS did not do it that well. Yeah. So I'm wondering, like, is this down to the director of this episode? Like, you know, did they just have a better camera crew here or something? But like, I mean, there is a reason that there's probably a lot of reasons this episode is considered a classic. But I think for me, what really aids the watchability of TOS is how truly freaking good it looks most of the time.
Yeah.
Like, yes, there are some 60s TV things going on.
Of course.
In a lot of the episodes.
Yeah.
But like, man, it's seriously, I mean, it looked better, like you said, it looked better than other Star Trek series that have come after it would shoot the same scene. I was very, very impressed.
Absolutely. And I mean, like you said, the split screen with the two Kirks was definitely, I could overlook the really jarring transition when spinning one Kirk over to show us the other Kirk. I was like, ooh, all right, we're going to just pretend we didn't see that. But all right.
And talk about stretching for time. I was like, okay, we get it. The table is spinning.
Yeah. You know,
we don't need that much of it.
Yeah. And I'm not looking to do like an hour and a half episode of Open Pike Night on what is realistically a 27-minute episode of TOS. Has anybody ever gone through and edited TOS to cut out all the filler?
Oh, wow. Again, to be defensive a little bit, there are episodes where it's like they couldn't lose a second of this.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But this is not one of those episodes, to your point. Like, there's a lot of, okay, pan for reaction. Okay, reaction. Okay, reverse shot.
Yeah.
Like,
and then and sometimes another reverse shot, and then another reverse shot, and then another reverse shot, then commercial break, and then the same reverse shots. And it was like, wow. Yeah. Ruck is looking at Kirk hanging from that cliff for almost a full minute.
So we'll leave some of the speculation for a little bit later.
Yeah.
But there were so many things in this episode that I noticed, like, oh, the Strange New Worlds crew really paid attention to this when they were putting their things together. Like Uhura's silver fingernails.
Yeah.
I was like, man, I'm so glad they paid that kind of attention, because honestly, the manicures in Strange New Worlds are amazing and one of my favorite little details.
Yeah. And I mean, we do have some great calls tonight. What do you say we jump into one of those? Then we'll start talking about the episode in earnest. Why don't we?
Ooh, yeah. Let's hear from Ernest.
All right. I don't have Ernest, but how about Zoe? We always put Zoe to the end. Let's bring Zoe to the beginning this time. Here we go.
Open Pike Night. This is USS Cinema. Zoe Richardson, Captain Commanding, also host of Backlit Cinema, the podcast, coming to you with my thoughts on the Enterprise's mission as to the events on planet XO3. So, Nurse Chapel is still an ensign after all these years under Kirk's command. That was surprising. It suggests that she did something to prevent her from gaining rank, because you'd expect her to be at least a lieutenant by now. Also, when Kirk asks Spock if Dr. Korby was still alive, Spock remained silent, and I thought that was a remarkable consideration on Spock's part to consider Nurse Chapel's feelings. That was remarkable. Also, I would be remiss in not commenting that I had gotten Dr. Phil Boyce confused with Dr. Korby. It could be because It's been a long time since I reviewed the events on Exo 3, and I have forgotten most of what had happened. Also made me think of what Dr. Korby must have been in real life. I've never met the man, and he was probably a remarkable man, and I can't wait to see what he'll be up to when he comes across the crew of the Enterprise with Captain Christopher Pike, because he was probably crazy for a long time. Richardson out.
I like the point Zoe makes there, and it's kind of what we were making with the when Jim Kirk actually made it to the actual Enterprise in Strange New Worlds after a couple of episodes where it was alternate or time travel or things like that. This is, in Strange New Worlds, is going to be the first time we actually get to meet Roger Korby, despite him having made his first appearance on screen over 60 years ago. So that'll be fun.
Yeah, and so to the point about Chapel, though, I think, Zoe, if I'm not mistaken, in Strange New Worlds, she's considered a civilian, or at least not part of the chain of command, right? She's on loan. I cannot remember from where, but she's there as kind of a favor to Mbenga.
John
She's
Hopkins,
not really.
was it? It was some unit. I thought it was
it might be.
Yeah.
They mentioned like 4 universities in the first 3 episodes of season 1.
They really did.
Like,
yeah.
I don't quite have the detail on that, but I think that we may see her choose to become part of Starfleet in season 3 because Korby says, hey, I'm going to go to Exo 3 for 5 years. And right here is where I want to bring in some really cool parallels, right? Like all of season 2, we have Spock devastated that his girlfriend is going to go to another school all summer, right? And it's like, dude, it's 3 months. Like, if your relationship cannot survive being apart for 3 months, when both of your jobs entail being in space, maybe there's something else up with that relationship. But what an interesting parallel that as soon as she decides, okay, I'm going to sing a song about how ready I am to leave you for this new opportunity, she goes and finds this new opportunity, and then Corby's like, all right, see you later.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, apparently after they get engaged too, right? So he's like, is this a marry me when I get back kind of thing? I mean, I have questions.
Baby. Yeah.
Yeah. I have questions about what we will see from him in Strange New Worlds season 3, because my first instinct, right, is to say, oh, he'll be like getting ready for this trip. She'll fall in love with him, and then he'll propose and then leave, because that would wrap it all up real quickly. But we don't know that. Maybe he's in 3 episodes.
Yeah.
Like, we don't know at all what it's going to look like. So I'm really, really curious about that.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see. And, it'll be, obviously we know we get Chapel back. We've seen the first clip of the season. We know she's back by episode 5, because of course it's episode 5, like you said on our previous episode coverage of all that. But I really liked, I can see, not that it needs to happen or needs to be this way. But there he is. I can see how our Jess Bush Chapel gets to the Majel Barrett Chapel, but obviously something, not that they're trying to make it go that exact line, but I can believe it. I can see, like, okay, obviously, the man lays pipe, right? Like he there, I got a good laugh out of Jesse. But obviously there's something there that, we're about to see a big change in Christine Chapel's life in season 3 to get to anywhere remotely close to this point, if we're trying to line up with TOS even a little bit.
And part of what makes me wonder if it will be like a direct, if it will be one episode, will they set up like, oh, he's really interested in this planet specifically because he wants to, like, he's heard about robotics or, things like that? Or is that an interest that he comes upon later after having been there for a while, right? Like, because at this point, what we know of him in Strange New Worlds is what they give us in the first 10 seconds of this episode, which is He's the Louis Pasteur of archaeological medicine. So, which is a great phrase, but it's like, what does that mean?
Because going from archaeological medicine to affecting how multiple species immunize themselves to robot planet, like that's a hard left turn this guy makes. That is a hard left turn. So, yeah, we'll just have to see what happens.
And Cameron, I think you had John pull a very specific line from this cold open.
That's right, I do.
Do you have that line ready to go, John?
I do. Here we go.
Have you ever been engaged, Mr. Spock?
That's cold. That's cold.
I love 60 years ago. That was just like that was an innocent question on her part. But now with the Strange New Worlds context, that is a sick burn.
Super sick burn.
Wow.
That's exactly what I wrote in my notes. Is like sick burn by Chapel there.
Wow. And Kirk gives him a look, and now I'm wondering, like, does Kirk know? Does Kirk know that she broke up his engagement? Because wow, he gives a look that could go either way.
Yeah.
And to play my role, it's a little shaky with canon, right? Because we assume that Christine learns this later at the start of season 2 in a mock time when she's like trying to feed Spock some soup or whatever, and he throws it at the wall next to her head. But it's like exactly what we've talked about a lot, which is we love the fleshing out that Strange New Worlds is doing with these characters, because that makes this read so much more savage.
Yeah. There are some savage lines in this episode overall.
And Chapel gets most of them.
Yes, she does.
But even here, without that backstory, she puts some stank on that, because it's like, you're probably the meaning behind it originally was like, of course you would never have been engaged. Right? Like, so it's just like, any way you cut this, it is a sick burn.
Yeah. The other kind of subtext I love in this opening is when Korby comes on and is like, "Yeah, I need you to come down, just you, Kirk." Mm-hmm. And Spock suddenly like bolts from his chair and rushes to his captain's side, like, "The hell you say?"
Yeah.
I am suspicious as fuck right now.
Yeah. And then they talk more, and Chapel's there talking. And then a couple random ass bridge crew are like standing there in the background, eavesdropping in on this conversation. Like, wow, there's drinks being served on this bridge. This is a different Enterprise than we've seen from Captain Pike. That's for sure.
And I gotta say, I don't think she pops up until later, but there is an extra in the background with a gorgeous pair of braided ponytails and like an updo combination. And I'm like, man, the attention to detail here is really impressive for a low-budget 60s TV show.
Yeah.
They did a really great job.
Yeah, we opened up talking about how visually and technically impressive this episode is. It has been my favorite episode of TOS I've ever seen so far, just because I was like,
really?
It looked so good. And, like I've said before, I really like camera motion, and the camera... very rarely, unless we're in a close-up, that camera is moving all the damn time in this episode.
Well, or sometimes it's just the lens, because there are some snap zooms here in this opening.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is, but I believe you. And
you know what a zoom is, right?
Right.
It's like they're really fast zooming.
Yeah. Instead of... because there's the classic dolly into Spock with his eyebrow raised, but these are just...
gotcha.
Just zooming the lens fast instead of moving the whole camera.
Gotcha. Yeah, well, and I mean, that's arguably a classic TOS thing too, but it was very noticeable here. And I do have to ask now, John, I have to get specific. How many episodes of TOS have you seen? Because there's some
4
killer episodes.
Okay, I was going to say, this is like middle of the pack for me.
Wow. I am not like... I've never really had a big draw to TOS.
No, that's fine.
So it's been fun to watch.
But there's some good episodes.
I'm sure I know there are some good episodes. I still need to see City on the Edge of Forever. But
that's a good one. Yeah.
But it was fun to watch it for the first time with this from our perspective and be like, man, Spock's really being a dick to Chapel. Damn, Chapel's being really mean to Spock after all this history I've seen them share.
Yeah, that's a great perspective.
It is a fun way to look at it. We heard from Zoe. Let's go ahead and hear from.
I miss Zoe's.
Yeah.
Oh man. It's like, guys, we're not going to be able to fake that I was here for that 10
Fine,
minutes.
Cam wasn't here for 10 minutes. Fine. Just trying, Cam. Whatever. No. But
It's okay.
Let's go ahead.
Did you read Zoe's email though?
Oh no, crap! I forgot he wrote one.
Because that was great.
Can you pull it up?
He says, "I still don't know what little girls are made of. So the review of the mission to XO3 has left me with more unanswered questions. I've included some thoughts on Nurse Chapel, Mr. Spock, and Dr. Korby. I also got confused between Dr. Korby from this episode and Dr. Boyce from the original pilot, which is why I thought that the actor, Killian O'Sullivan, was too young. Yes, he's too young to play Dr. Boyce, but he's just right to play Dr. Korby. I still wonder if Dr. Boyce will make an appearance in this season."
Yeah.
Okay, so
I did not try to do a Zoe impression. I apologize. And you're welcome.
Yeah.
and partially that's because an impression was demanded of us slightly later in this
That's
episode.
right. I'm
But
saving it.
okay, so I assume that the title is a play on the rhyme,
Yeah,
right?
right.
Like,
Sugar and spice.
boys
and
are
everything
made
nice.
of-
yeah.
Right.
yeah, and whatever, and snails and puppy dog tails.
Snips
But-
for some reason. Yeah.
Snips.
That's right.
But like, I'm with Zoe. Like, I still am not like, oh, okay, so that's why it's called this. Like,
Unless this episode is mainly about Andrea and they just forgot to make that point. It's like that's the only girl that got made in this episode.
Yeah, it's a bad title on the surface, but I think it is because of you have to think of the whole rhyme and be like sugar and spice and everything nice, and that's what Dr. Korby's trying to do. He wants to make androids that are just the good stuff, and the episode is proving that it's not.
There's the metaphor. Good work. Thank you.
But yeah, it's not a great title because that's not what you think of immediately.
Yeah.
so there is definitely a deleted scene where he accidentally tips a big vat of chemical X into the mix.
Yeah.
All
The snails, no. You know, and go way too literal.
There's a snail crawling on one of those green blobby things.
So, can we agree that Matthews is possibly the most bored security officer in the history of anything?
Super bored. And I mean, Matthew, like, I know Red Shirts die in a lot of ways, but just off screen
With a yell,
Yeah.
I thought, okay, maybe it's deeper than that, right? Like maybe he's really foreshadowing the whole robot factor here with his performance.
Yeah.
But I mean, come on. Like,
Well, I just like how they're both, or the other security guard and Kirk and Chapel are basically on LSD as they're walking down this tunnel because they are just like molesting that wall with their hands.
Oh, yeah.
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 And
It's so lifelike. These construction men have done such a good job making caves.
and this might be the first appearance of a cave technically because
Oh.
The Cage hadn't aired on TV, and I'd have to watch the first 6 episodes again, which I'm happy to do, but I feel like this might be, I mean, let's be honest, this is the most famous Star Trek cave for reasons we'll get to later,
Yep.
but it also could be the first, if not like one of the first. So
You could have called this episode, in fact, to steal Rob's line from the past, which he'll use in our upcoming Green Shirt episode later this week. Caves, caves, caves.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's right. We've got another famous cave episode coming up over there.
So many caves. It was strange to me, like knowing what Chapel's been through in her military history and things like that. Like she was really nervous just walking by and kicking a rock off the side of that cliff. Is weird. Big swing
Yeah.
for her. She, after her,
She didn't have her space PCP with her.
Yeah,
What-
she
what
didn't,
do you
she
call
didn't have
it?
her battle meth. She
Her
has
battle
flown. She has flown into other dimensions to negotiate with haze aliens, and this rock falling off the edge is messing with her. Like, man, yeah,
look, I'm sure
It's just what little girls are made of.
yeah.
John,
There we
okay?
go. Yeah.
I'm sure the way too late reasoning for it would be, well, she was thrown off by hearing Roger's voice again, and she was
sure.
in a very, very fragile place emotionally. But how about this Dr. Brown guy, the assistant?
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Like, very, very intense Igor vibes from this guy. And I rewound it twice and watched. He blinks one time between when we meet him and when we meet Korby.
Oh wow,
And it's like, I mean,
that's a good point. A good little touch.
and how many pieces of old sci-fi do you go, well, that guy's probably a robot, and it turns out to be right. But like, it was a good touch, yeah.
I really hope we get to see him in season 3, and I really hope he gets the most dramatic entrance of anybody ever, and that's just his standard MO.
Yeah.
Because my lord, was that an entrance? Wow.
What movie am I thinking of where it's basically that entrance?
Yeah, it's tingling the back of my head too, where someone walks out in front of like a big spotlight, and they turn it off.
Oh, yeah.
This could like derail our entire episode.
Yeah, then he steps out of the spotlight and we see who it is. Dang it. Yeah. Ooh, this is going to bug us.
Keep talking.
Ooh, I wonder which listener is yelling at their headphones right now, yelling at us what movie it is.
And the subsequent question being, was one inspired by the other?
Right.
Like,
yeah.
We know a lot of people took a lot of inspiration from Star Trek.
Absolutely.
And I got to assume that Revlon is among those people, because at this point they clearly had not yet invented color stay lipstick. Like, Korby ends up wearing at least half of Chapel's lipstick, right?
Oh, yeah. And man, like, obviously the budget for this episode went to costuming and foam and red, green, and purple light gels, because damn, do we see a lot of great costumes and a lot of foam.
We see a lot of costumes and almost no indication that any of the people in those costumes are wearing any underwear whatsoever.
Zero underwear whatsoever, yeah.
I mean, but you gotta admit that Andrea is rocking her Spirit Halloween sexy Tom Sawyer costume.
Yeah, no joke.
I have no problem admitting that, even a little bit.
Oh, that is it? Is that it? I don't know if this is what you're thinking of, Jesse. It might be ChatGPT might have come through. Orson Welles in The Third Man hasn't seen quite like that, where he's running down a tunnel with a bright light behind him.
That's one of them, but I'm thinking of an 80s one where it's somebody thinks that it's like God, and then it steps out and it's just a person kind of thing. That's,
to me, 80s sounds more like what I was probably thinking
there's a
of.
more modern one.
I mean, I really like Citizen Kane, but I think that might be the
makes
only
one
Orson
of us in
Welles
this
thing
room.
I've ever
All right.
seen. What, you guys don't like Citizen Kane? We don't have time.
Citizen Kane's amazing.
I mean, it's amazing for what it did. It's a boring movie to watch. Like, disagree.
Okay, John, you have got to watch more TOS, because like this episode is amazing technically and visually for what it did, but like compared to a lot of episodes, it's a little bit boring.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I'm very interested to see what you think about some of the all-time bangers.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, yes, I'm not going to disagree with you that like a 3-hour movie about a guy who runs a newspaper is maybe not the best idea for a plot, but like that movie, and you know this, that movie did so much for every movie that came after.
Oh yeah, I will never take away what it did. Like it invented the crane. It did so much. But
Citizen Kane is an hour and 59 minutes, and it fucks every minute. Okay.
But it also feels like
we're going.
But it also feels like 3 hours.
At least I know Cam agrees with me on Chinatown, so I'm good there.
Oh,
but
yeah.
And maybe it felt like 3 hours because the first time I saw it, I was like 13 or something.
Well, this has been the hot take on Classic Movies Minute.
Yeah.
Yes. So, speaking of Halloween props, did you guys recognize the laser pistol that Brown pulls out?
9.
It looked familiar, but I couldn't place it because the cylinder shape,
and it's from The Cage. It's the laser pistol model that they use in The Cage.
That's because we talked about those. That's right.
Yeah, and Majel Barrett, obviously, as number 1, was overloading that laser pistol at various points in that episode. Just a really great reminder of how economical Star Trek has always been with its use of props and costumes and backgrounds, etc.
Yeah. And just keeping guns on top of cabinets,
Yeah,
or hidden in like weird secret compartments on top of.
And like in a position that an android with perfection would like have to fumble around for. Like, she can't just like reach for it without looking. She's got to do the whole like, okay, where are my keys?
I apologize. I think we were going to hear from a caller a while back.
Let's go ahead and hear from Abby. Here we go.
Hey, Open Pike. It's Abby Summer from the First Flight Podcast. what a great thing for us to think about over this next, hopefully slightly less than a year waiting for season 3. I can't wait to see what they do with Korby. I really have a soft spot for the TOS episode because I didn't see it until I had already known Majel Barrett as the Waxana. So to see her in this role as another very intelligent woman, and sometimes speaking with what to me was Luoxana's voice, has always just resonated. And I mean, the costuming in this episode is outstanding. The fronts, the backs, Ruck's costume has got to be like 14 yards of fabric. I love it. So I love the original. I love the idea of fleshing out Roger Korby. Let's see him how he was before he had reached this critical moment in his life. Let's see him developing a relationship with Christine. Let's see them really giving each other the intellectual stimulation that they both crave and need, because they're both brilliant. And I don't want it to become romance right away. I want it to like build slowly, see the real relationship there, let them be friends beforehand, because that's what makes the best romantic partners. So whatever they do, I'm sure they'll love it. Can't wait to hear what everybody else thinks. And yeah, it's the penis rack episode. So what else do I need to end on? Hope this finds you well.
There, I'm glad a caller said it. There we go.
And to follow up a similar pattern, I believe Abby also sent an email along with her call, as did Zoe.
She did.
Indeed. She challenged us to see who could do the best impression of old Rook saying, "The old ones." I don't know. Maybe that's my impression. I need to hear it again, though. Did we bring the OG?
Do we want to hear it first, or do we want to do our impression first and then hear how we did?
That's
I
hard.
need to hear it, I think.
All right, here we go. Ready?
Yes, the old ones.
I don't think mine was too bad.
No, you're pretty close.
To get a little more warble out, though, I think.
Yes, the old ones.
Yes, the old ones.
I don't know. I think John has the deepest voice naturally.
Yes, the old ones.
Yeah, he's got
But
that
Cameron's
natural
good at
warble
the-
in there.
Yeah, he
though.
does have that. Yeah.
And Cameron's good at that cup trick. Dang.
I know how to handle my microphone.
I
Just reached up and grabbed that microphone, tore it off the ceiling, and held it in his hands. Should we do our Ruck appreciation minute now? Because, man.
I was
do
going to
it.
say,
Yeah.
I, like, zero exaggeration, most of my notes are about Ruck.
Sweet.
And it's because I was like, why do I recognize this guy? I feel like I know that there's something else about him. He's Lurch, okay?
Mm-hmm.
The original Lurch. But not only is he the original Lurch, but he played the same character, Lurch, in the Addams Family, Batman, and Scooby-Doo, and he was freaking Galactus at one point.
Oh, wow.
Mm.
He also played a man called Agent Kronos, Klingon reference, in an animated series called Space Sentinels, and he was also the voices of the Baylock puppet in the Corbomite maneuver, I am Baylock.
Okay.
Yeah.
And all of the snarly, growly sounds of the Gorn in Arena. Like, talk about a hell of a career, and this is just between 1966 and 1972. Like, he was also in a Roddenberry movie called Planet Earth, which featured a character named Baylock that he didn't play.
Yeah.
But this movie also had Majel Barrett and one Diana Muldaur,
Oh.
Dr. Pulaski,
Mm-hmm.
and also of 2 different episodes of TOS. I like, you guys, the presence of this person on screen. He picks Kirk up at one point and throws him, and it doesn't look like a stunt.
No.
It's just
no.
that would happen.
Like a sack of potatoes, man.
They cut to a stunt man at one point for Kirk, obviously, but in
Yeah.
the first shot when he picks him up over his head, that is William Shatner being hefted like 5 feet in the air by this man. Well, after hearing all that, I feel a little bad that I just wrote down the rich man's Tor Johnson for him. But yeah, he was great. I loved him. To Abby's point, I just pictured that he was wearing one of those, again, Spirit Halloween, like He-Man muscle suit costumes underneath his costume, because it was just obviously so much padding under there.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like they said, we can't physically build you a costume, but we do have this comforter from the world's largest bed
Right.
Yep.
and a series of bobby pins. So
Let's go
let's
for
do
it.
this.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it's definitely okay. Also, like Rook included, the body count in this episode is insane.
Yeah.
But it was definitely 60s because I'm like, man, we totally in 2024 would have heard like a gruesome neck snap sound effect for red shirt number 2 there.
Oh man, yeah.
and I love I do that. Like I said, there's a bunch of cold lines in this episode, and Korby just saying Ruck destroyed them both, talking about the red shirts. Like, goddamn, destroyed.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a rough line.
But I also love, he's this big menacing figure, and the when he's doing the imitations, the voice impressions, that was done really, really well. So then I also, he's Frank the Rock Caliente, or maybe Frank the Rook Caliente.
Oh, there you go.
Do we know Frank?
Caliendo?
How's Caliendo? I don't know.
It's
No one
Caliendo.
likes that guy. But
I know who
he
you're
does a lot of impressions.
Yeah.
But you're right. Like, to me, the lip sync here is like one of the more impressive practical effects in arguably all of the original series, right?
Yeah.
It is so spot on.
Yep.
You can see him like using his throat and tongue to mimic cadence, and it's like, it's really impressive. Like, we've seen this. Everybody has seen a lot of instances where the dubbing is not good when it's the same actor reading the same lines, but in a booth,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Right.
And it's like, this guy is a very, very good actor.
Yep.
And to give him like the second fiddle in an episode as like the second level boss is mind blowing to me, but it really speaks to the quality of what they had available at the time. It's really, really impressive. I don't think that Ted Cassidy's presence in this episode can be overstated, despite him being 7 feet tall and taking up the entire scene every time he's in it. Like,
Yeah, I know we're here to talk about Korby, but honestly, I'm like, man, Andrea and Rook are the two I like of non-ship characters who I'm most interested in. I don't care about the doctors. Like,
Honestly, both of their turns are really good too.
They're
His performance when he starts having his little existential crisis it's really good. And then, it's more Kirk, but just him kissing humanity into an android is classic. Kirk in
absolutely.
Star Trek.
I mean, they talk about like, oh, Kirk always macking on ladies. He's just a playboy. But then people, have come back and been like, no, he's a stack of books. Almost 6 feet high.
He is starstruck by Korby earlier in this episode.
He's starstruck on him, but then like the quick thinking, I really wish there had been more payoff with the Spock insult. I'm like,
it's
dude,
such a good moment.
Such a great moment. Like, and
when
you can
he does
see it,
that.
you see the payoff of delivering it. You see Spock realize it, and
then they kind of distract them later on.
Yeah.
But it doesn't feel like they were needed for the ending. Yeah.
right. It doesn't end up mattering because it's all been solved.
Yeah.
Like, by the time Spock shows up.
Technically they wouldn't have called Andrea and she wouldn't have killed Kirk, the Kirk android,
Right. Yep.
but it felt like Kirk had things in control by then anyhow.
Yeah.
Agreed. And like, it's a great through line, right? Because like you were saying, Cameron, right at the start, Spock gets suspicious. He's like, why does he only want to talk to you? I don't like that. You're kind of mine. And
Come on, boo. Yeah.
and then you get this, like, the quick thinking of Kirk to be like, okay, I was kind of pretending to be super out of it because they put me on the mint frosting spin machine. But I'm still with it enough to think, like, how do I ambush somebody trying to make a copy of myself? Oh, I'll just use attitudes that I wouldn't normally vocalize. Like, there we go.
Just bring it
Quick and
front
easy
to
fix.
mind, and hopefully that's how this mind reader thing works. And apparently it does.
It worked well.
I'm good with that.
Nobody has outsmarted a computer in like a larger number of ways than Captain Kirk.
Sure.
He can logic them to death. He can kiss them into humanity. Like, he can logic them into violence. Like, the dude has quite the resume when it comes to tricking a computer.
Absolutely.
He is the best of us.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and hear from another caller. Here is Matt Law.
Hey, Open Pike, it's Matt at Law Dog Safety on socials. It has been a while since my last call in, but I had some thoughts about this week's episode. First, what are little girls made of? With a B plot of Lurch and the case of the overtly phallic rock. So many memeable moments in this episode made long before memes were a thing. I remember diving into trivia about Ted Cassidy when I watched this episode, who was raised in Philippi, West Virginia, only a stone's throw away from where I grew up. Though sadly he passed away well before I was born, he had a memorable career on screen. I also remember this being one of the first episodes where I realized just how dark TOS is. My brother-in-law calls it a brightly lit nightmare, and honestly, this episode lives up to that in many aspects. Look, rather than a deep dive into who picked out Kirk's weaponized dildo made of cave stone and whether it was on purpose, I'd actually like to focus on my optimism for bringing Dr. Korby into Strange New Worlds. Although Michael Strong's performance was fantastic and Dr. Korby can be rightfully classified as a legacy character, I think a lot of room exists to flesh out this character. I mean, we have a whole courtship and engagement with Chapel to work through. That could be fun. It was certainly fun with Spock and Chapel. The question is, will they bring in any of the red flags that were made evident in this episode of TOS? How hard would those red flags be pushed? I'm good with just making him bright-eyed and bushy-tailed for this. There's no need to push the signs of eventual downturn. I mean, Chapel was caught off guard in this episode, and there really wasn't anyone there to say, I told you so. Make it like Anakin Skywalker before corruption, but with less midichlorians and statutory rape. Anyway, those are my thoughts. Live long and prosper, guys.
Love it.
Great
Matt
call,
knows
Matt.
his shit.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna just agree with everything you said, man, and 100%. Like, I'm right there with what I hope they do with Roger Korby. Like, it's kind of like the Sam Kirk thing, right? We know where this is gonna end up. We don't really need him to show up being like, have you guys ever heard of an android? Like, well, we don't need it.
Yeah. To go back to what I heard John talking about when I first popped in. I mean, it didn't seem like he had much interest in robotics or androids. He just happened to be on this planet, discovered them, was dying, and then needed to use a body, became an android, and then, that android was suddenly very interested in creating more androids. That wasn't Korby. I think that's just the androids, their version of wanting to bone is wanting to make more androids, right? Yeah. Reproduction. That's what all species want to do.
Everything we do.
Quick sidebar. Korby had lost his legs, though, by the time he copied himself. So is he just like green gelatin from the knees down under those pants? God, I hope so.
He had the legs of Rook as an example, so it's kind of surprising.
So he's got Rook's legs.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's funny that Korby isn't like 80% leg and then just his torso hanging out up top. But like, to go back to what you're saying about the android sex drive, for lack of a better term, like, watching Chapel realize she probably got cheated on with a robot is a strange experience.
Yeah.
But like, Majel Barrett played it so well.
So well.
She went subtle with it and it worked. Like, that is a really weird situation to pretend you're being a part of, and she didn't overplay it. I was really impressed.
Well, I love how like these old shows kind of get away with mentioning sex in them, because Korby goes, I promise you, I don't love her. How could you think I would love her? And she goes, but did you love her?
Yeah.
Not do you love her? Like, did you, as in the action?
Yep.
I was like, oh, I know what you're saying, Christine.
And
then
like,
the way he says, well, she can't love. It's like, are you saying you didn't build the requisite parts for that?
Yeah. Or is it, and we see later on what he meant, kind of. But I do like that in 1960, when did this come out? 60?
I think this was a 67.
Like, when this came out in 67, this was a 2. The body count in this episode was 2. Once TNG aired Measure of the Man, the body count in this episode shot up to like 7. And it's like, well, they're androids, they're people. Like, the court has ruled. Can we argue?
Yeah.
I just checked. It is in 1966 because it's season 1.
Yeah.
And it's basically a Halloween episode, guys.
Oh.
First aired on October 20th, 1966.
Hell yeah.
Love it.
Hell yeah.
Totally
works.
This
for a Halloween episode.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
No.
We'll just sets the bar higher for us.
Yep.
I mean, I do want to talk about Christine. Like, I think the big flaw of this episode, of course, is, a lot of the cringy stuff of just 60s television, and that, like, this should have been a Christine Chapel episode, right? Like, they set it up as hers from the beginning, and then she just kind of gets sidelined for the whole thing as Kirk takes over.
Yeah.
And escapes for no reason and grabs a cock rock for some reason. But I will just make it my headcanon, though, that the scene where Robot Kirk comes in and talks to her, because, like, Christine, you just saw him make a Kirk android that you couldn't tell apart. You have to know this is him. So I'm just going to tell myself that she was acting that whole time. And that whole please don't make me choose, like, was her being, I know what Corby's trying to find out, and I'm going to give him what he wants to hear.
Exactly.
I can agree with that.
Yeah, I'll fully agree with that. Also, I just love like watching that very long cloning scene. It's like, oh boy, here's more padding. I love watching it. It's like, how could you even tell them apart? And I just wanted Chappell to be like, well, the one with vomit spewing from him, that's the human being.
My note right here literally says, Christine should be able to pick out which Kirk is real because he should be vomiting all over himself from riding the Shatner go-round. I am glad to be on the same page for that.
I can't ride the Gravitron without vomiting.
Right?
True story.
And he's on his side.
And there's only two sides, right? Like, he started on the left, he ends on the left. Yeah. They're facing opposite directions.
That's true.
Come on.
But she's just like, I can't tell them apart, like shocked. It's like, we just established he can make life like this. Certainly you've seen clones by now, or like at least robots that look human. I mean, this isn't a huge thing.
Yeah.
But I guess the scene does answer Zoe's question of what little girls are made of. They're made of those giant, like, rubbery figures you can put in bathtubs, and they grow a little bit, unless you leave them in there too long, and then they get slimy and start falling apart.
I thought that was just a bathtub-sized bath bomb. Like, you put that whole thing in the bathtub.
You leave it in there 24 hours, and that's what it becomes.
Yep.
But you have to cover it in that green frosting, otherwise the android transference doesn't work. Now, Cam, we spoke about this a little bit before you got here, and I have to ask you if maybe you have insight on this. How is the scene with two Kirks more flawless and seamless than like every
Rikers.
Scene with two copies of the same person we've ever seen after this? Like, how did they do that? Is it two plates? Like, what is going on? Because it is perfect.
I think because they weren't trying to make it too tricky. A lot of the other ones, they try to move the camera to show how tricky they can be with moving the camera or having them like reach out and touch the other person. There's been some Data ones in TNG where clearly it's someone else's hands coming up to grab the guy's collars, like Data 2's collar. Here they just put the camera there, let them act against each other, do a split screen, don't move anything, don't change any lights,
don't move anything.
It's all on the actor. And every time I watch TOS, I'm like, oh yeah, this is why William Shatner is a star. Like, he is damn
the dude
good.
can freaking act.
Yeah.
Like, say what you will about the weird cadence and the Priceline commercials and everything else that has come after this in his life, the dude can act.
Yeah.
He commands a screen is what he does.
I also love how quick Kirk is, because we see it here where he drops Hitler as a reference. He does the same thing in The Undiscovered Country. Like Hitler, Poland, 1938. It's like, damn, you are
you are a walking stack
a little
of books.
too into Hitler, aren't you?
There's a walking version of an internet thread.
Yep.
Yeah, there's somebody at the Academy that's like, oh, here comes Kirk. I hope you've read up on Hitler. Like,
yeah. All right, let's hear from another one of our callers. Here is Platty.
Hey, Open Pike Night, it's Platty M3, back with my hits, shits, and misses for the TOS episode, What Are Little Girls Made Of? Now first, hits. Right off the bat, man, we got a red shirt death. That was awesome. Like, there's nothing like a classic red shirt death. You gotta lean into the stereotype. That's why they're there. I thought the split screen between Kirk and Android Kirk was pretty darn good. I mean, looking at it here, 50, 60, 70 years later, it's still great. And also, how can we miss the amazing rock that Kirk pulled off the cavern, the stalactite, to try to hit Rock with? I think your sister from another podcast has the best way to say it.
Guys, it looks like a dildo.
And there we go.
Nice.
All right, shits. I was like, oh shit, man. I went back and replayed this a few times. Kirk got picked up by Rock like he was a rag doll. Like, just watching that scene, you look at and just see him get picked up and tossed. And poor Nurse Chapel, man, like, her emotional state must be shit. Like, this whole episode and afterwards, like, in New Trek, we'd spend a whole episode on just her feelings about that. But my gosh, how devastating. Now, Mrs., I think I only missed one thing, and that is the answer to the question, what are little girls made out of? I mean, I still don't know if it's sugar, spice, everything nice, circuits, electronics, side boob. I mean, what? What? Come on, TOS, tell me. Answer the question. Platty M3, signing out.
Man, I love our callers.
I was going to say, it makes me so happy to hear that we are on so many of the same pages in the same book as a lot of our callers. And if there's one spot where this episode falls down, right, it's probably in the answer to that question.
Where
not
Mitchell
only because
fell off the ledge into the cavern.
To the bottomless pit. Yeah.
I don't know what was his name was.
It was Matthews. But
Matthews.
there's the answer is probably subtextually little girls are made of suspicion and jealousy and possessive thoughts of their fiance, right? Because, like, that's most of what we get here. And I still think Chapel comes out as a star in this episode. But like you said, Cam, they don't really focus on it. They don't really give her her due as far as, like, what this would do to her. And as Platty just said, like, we don't really get to see the emotional effects of it. The last scene of this episode is your classic Kirk and Spock bantering back and forth on the bridge. And isn't that funny? All right, on to the next episode. So, like, you know, if there's something that pulls away from my enjoyment of this episode, it's definitely somewhere in that arena.
Mm-hmm. Platty, I've been podcasting for 7 years now, I think. Anyway, hearing you clip Marcy from Green Shirt and playing her here, it might be my favorite podcasting moment of all time. So thank you for that.
It was fantastic.
Brought a very big smile to my face. And my son is actually podcasting with Marcy as soon as we're done here. So I'm going to let her know that she has been immortalized that way.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah.
The old stone bone, as I called it in our Discord earlier. I was very worried I wasn't going to be able to outdo that here for the podcast. But then I came up with, and I know I've already used a Rock wrestler reference, but here we go again. Wang the Rock Johnson is what Kirk is holding in that scene.
Nice. You got it.
Yeah, it's right there. I mean,
as a dad, that totally works.
They do call me the Pasteur of podcasting dick jokes.
There you go. Just saying that Stalag definitely looked pretty tight. Let's just say it that way.
Yep. I was brainstorming stalactite references. I couldn't. There you go.
Yep. I kept trying to pair it with Ruck, and I was like, is there a Fuddruckers or like Ruck fuckers joke in here somewhere? But I couldn't quite put it together, as you can tell.
I just had Ruck versus Rock.
Yeah.
That whole sequence is like, Kirk, what is your plan here?
Right.
You got out? You have so many badass moments throughout this whole episode, but then this one is like, Ruck was about to leave. You had a home run there. You were about to get away scot-free, and you called him back because you thought you could beat him with your giant rock dildo.
Yep. Yeah. And then I think for a second when he was hanging from the cliff and they were padding for more time, he was like, I'm not moving. Can he not see me? Is he like a Tyrannosaurus Rex? Is that why he just keeps staring at me while I'm staring at him? What is
the other
going
two
on?
Androids?
Yep.
He didn't even know we're there. Yeah, and I mean, that's another scene where, like, you remember, oh, right, this is a low-budget 1960s TV show.
Yep.
The rock that Kirk is holding on to keep from falling definitely has some flex in it.
Oh, yeah.
Because it is made of foam.
Yeah. And it's like coming apart under his boots while he's scrabbling on it, too.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
And the resolution of that, like, they go to break on a literal cliffhanger.
Yep.
And then the fix for it is Ruck decided not to let him die.
Yeah.
Like, it fits, okay? It really does fit, but, like, come on.
So I had watched this movie. I watched this episode sometime in the last year, I think like 6 to 8 months ago, which is going to come back for another point later. But yeah, I kind of remembered that Ruck has like he turns on Korby moment. But I thought it was here. I thought like he was deciding to save Kirk because he was like, I can use Kirk to get rid of Korby. But no, we get reminded the next scene it's because he had promised not to do any harm to Kirk, and that's why he saved him. And I guess Kirk remembered that while dangling there.
Well,
he kind of looks
Chapel
at him.
called after Ruck to say, don't hurt him, don't do anything. So I think it was him fighting his,
But I agree with Cam. Like, you can kind of see on Kirk's face something of like, do you remember you're not supposed to kill me? All right, you totally remember you're not supposed to kill me. All right.
Yeah. But yeah, I remembered Korby being a lot older than he was. So like I have kind of been like, oh, how are they going to do this romance between Chapel and Korby, this old man? He's not that much older. He's what, like 5 to 10 years older?
Well, and like Christine is a little older in this.
Yeah.
Than she is in Strange New Worlds. So like I don't think it's going to end up being an issue, to your point.
Yeah.
And also, this is
funny.
the 60s
I remembered
where,
like
like a 25-year-old looked like a damn 40-year-old sometimes.
That's true.
Back then. So,
oh man,
like, how old are these people supposed to be? Like,
Yeah.
It's
The
fine.
actress who played Andrea was 59 when this was shot.
Damn.
You almost sold me with that one. I was like, whoa, is Jesse being serious?
I couldn't help it.
Yeah, I was just watching this. I'm sure Cillian O'Murphy, who's playing Corby?
Cillian O'Sullivan.
I'm sure he'll be great, but I was watching this and being like, ooh, man, I could see Crispin Glover playing a young Corby.
Well,
25 years ago, sure, but yes.
Yeah, sure, yes.
I
haven't seen him since Willard, so.
I'm all for putting Crispin Glover in more stuff. I'm going to go ahead and admit, since we're sharing embarrassing truths this week, the first time I saw him, I think, was Charlie's Angels, because I had not yet seen Back to the Future.
Oh, okay. I hate to tell you this, Jesse. Charlie's Angels came out 25 years ago.
That's why I said Crispin Glover 25 years ago. Like, I'm perfectly fine with that. I remember going like, that is the creepiest human being I have ever seen. They should put him in more movies. And my dad was like, yeah, he's the dad from Back to the Future. And I was like, oh, great. What's that about?
But, well, I'm glad you've finally seen Back to the Future.
Yeah, that's why I was worried that was going to be your admission.
Yep.
Oh, no. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I saw that as a kid.
Have you seen Tremors
after
yet?
I had seen. No.
Okay. All right.
Also, still have not seen Die Hard.
Yeah, we know. We know.
God. All right.
Maybe that's going to be our Christmas episode.
There we go.
I mean, we're looking for one.
All right, let's hear from Melanie. Wash this bad taste out of her mouth.
Hi, guys. I'm so tired, but I wanted to send something in. I haven't had time to rewatch the classic Trek episode with Corby. Lots of stuff going on here. But I remember some parts of it well enough to talk about it, I think. But let's start from the beginning. When I looked at Trekipedia.com searching for Roger Korby, I saw that his expedition is supposed to vanish in 2261. Isn't that when the third season of Strange New Worlds should be happening? I wonder how they'll fit him in. Chapel is only now becoming part of his fellowship, though. She should have been involved with him before. But I'm not one to stick to an old canon when a good story can be told. And the actor they chose to play Corby, Cillian O'Sullivan, definitely appears not as arrogant as the old Corby seemed to me. So, when we saw him in TOS, he is already an android. To make my babbling short, I look forward to the almost plural bending of canon, and I hope he deserves Christine's love and affection. Live long and prosper.
Really good point, which is not something new, Melanie making good points with her calls, but I believe there was a recent interview, I think it was with Variety, where the showrunners are talking about we really need to have a character that Christine could believably fall in love with. So you're right on track there, Melanie. Like, we need something other than like, oh, he's so smart, right? Because Christine is also brilliant.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't like a fawning infatuation thing. It needs to be a real mutual respect style full-on relationship.
Well, as I think Matt said, like, we don't want the Anakin situation. We don't want to go like, oh, we know this guy's going to turn bad, so let's just remind you about that every other scene. Yeah. Like, no, we want the turn to be surprising when we watch these in chronological order to go, oh, I can't believe that beloved character became this cruel android. So yeah, I hope that's the route they go.
But his hand did get damaged, and it broke his brain seeing his damaged robot hand. Just saying.
It was a very Star Wars moment.
I agree with you that Star Wars has made an entire franchise out of ripping off Star Trek. So...
Okay, guys, I came back from part of the reason I was late is I had to take my son to the Lego store. Where he bought a Star Wars Lego, but I had my Star Trek lapel pin on, and we met a 10-year-old who was in line ahead of us. And the boy goes, "Oh, are you a Star Wars family?" And I was like, and he's like, "I mean, are you a Star Wars and a Star Trek family?" Because he must have seen my pin then.
Wow,
I know. And I was like, "Oh, this okay." And I was like, "Yeah, we like both. What about you?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm a Star Trek guy. I like Star Wars, but it's old."
Yes.
I was like, whoa.
And then you told that kid, check out my podcast, Green Shirt, A Newbie's Trek Through the Next Generation. It's right up your alley, kid.
Yeah.
Wow. That gives me hope for the future. Yeah. Like, that just makes me happy to hear.
Absolutely.
And yeah, someday, when that kid is 30 or 40 and he has a pair of friends that are 30 or 40, maybe he'll start a Trek podcast that we can call into.
But then I was very proud of my son, who then goes, "Isn't Star Trek older, Dad?" And I was like, yes, it is. Very true.
Nice.
Well, not to take anything away from your son, but like, he should know that living in your house, right? Like,
so. Yeah.
If he didn't know that, you might be like, you know what? No Star Wars Legos today.
Well, just since we're talking about this, on the way home, my son did categorize everything. He likes cartoon Star Trek the best. He likes that more than Star Wars, but he likes Star Wars more than the movie Star Trek. So that's where they fall right now.
Okay.
I could dig that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm
like, Lower Decks is some of the best new Trek. Yeah. So that's fair.
Absolutely.
And TAS is some of the wackiest Star Trek ever
he hasn't
made.
seen that yet. So
I mean, that might give him trauma to see that before he's like 15. But...
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I get it. No. So I have to ask you again, Cameron, I have a production question. How common is a handheld shot in the 1960s TV era? Like, this deeply effective, like very well used handheld shot of Copy Kirk getting into the turbo lift. It's like, that's textbook. That's what you use it for. You use it to make the viewer feel unmoored and uncomfortable. Like,
honestly, I'm not sure, but I do know that I'm impressed when they do that in TNG 30 years later, 20, 30 years later.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's not that common. Those were big ass cameras back then.
Those were huge, loud, clunky.
It was a feat.
I was really impressed with the camera work this entire episode, and that was like, I mean, that comes like 3/4 of the way or more through the episode. So it's like they are not out of tricks yet. Like they just keep pulling things out of the bag.
Yeah, they do. Yeah,
I know he touched on it, but again, one of the parts I love about that scene where he yells at Spock is the moment right afterwards where he's like, yeah, so we get here, like, because obviously in his android brain, he doesn't realize that was out of character. So he just plays the rest of the scene as if like it was a normal conversation, and it's done so well. And I think that more than even just the half-breed line is what cues Spock off. Like, it's like, you did not react like you had just said that to me, like even more than saying that to me.
And you kind of asked me, like, is there a problem? It's like, did you not just hear yourself?
Right. It's so that it's just like 3 lines, but it's done so well.
And I love with Spock's rebuke at the end of the episode of the Kirk, you should be like, yeah, that's why I had him say it, Spock.
Right.
That was the whole point. You just got there late. You like
so that scene only exists for Spock to be like, hey, I don't like that.
Yeah.
Like, that is the purpose of that whole scene, is him being like, don't do that. And if you ever say that to me face to face, I will nerve pinch the shit out of you.
And it's very meaningful that was said back then, especially now with how much Spock's life and identity is dissected every time we get any new scraps of information about it. But we did get some information we haven't even talked about yet about George Samuel Kirk. About his, I mean, we mentioned a little bit. It's like, oh yeah, there's wife and 3 kids in his future. That's pretty exciting. Yeah.
I hope we don't meet them because it will just make it hurt more to know how it ends. Like, I mean,
has he
spoiler
not
alert.
Them in Strange New Worlds? Does he not have them waiting at home somewhere?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
And I don't think they have.
I thought Pike asked him about the family or something, but
he may have. Like in season 1, he may have said,
like right in the pilot in the first episode.
Yeah, I think
Could've
so.
been,
or like the second or third one when they're talking about the mustache or something. But I'm sure our listeners will correct us.
Yeah, and please do. But the other thing that they say about Sam in this, he's like, George Samuel Kirk, only you call him Sam. Like, that's exactly the line they used in Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Because he's like, oh, yeah, I'm the only one that calls him that. And La'an goes, literally everyone calls him Sam.
Yeah. Well, I remember some people were pulling that out and being like, how could they disrespect canon? Look at this line. And I was like, yeah, Kirk thinks he's the only one who calls him that, but he's like, even before tomorrow, that was easy to like, yeah, that feels like something Kirk would believe.
Yeah.
Right. An older brother assumes that they're special.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're just a person. Man. It's okay.
I've got other friends. It's all right. Speaking of other friends, we have one more call here from our buddy Newman.
Hi, Open Pike Night. Newman the Space Hippie here from the Movies for Days podcast. What an interesting episode. So we've got Robo Kirk and duplicants, and he's fighting on the big Ruck Candy Mountain. And he breaks off a big piece of stalactite, but it also looks like a giant pink dick. And it's got balls, too. This had to be intentional. What are they doing with this episode? Also, Ted Cassidy, who was Lurch on the old Addams Family show, is here with astounding makeup. I really love the design in this episode. The set, it really looked pretty cool and pretty striking. I always forget how TOS episodes are kind of like a little mini horror movie where they just sit down on some planet and something horrendous happens and they just get the fuck out of Dodge. And that's kind of what happens here. And then Kirk has this weird back and forth with Spock where he's like, hey, I called you a racial slur, but it was for the good of the story. Don't get bent out of shape about it. Such a weird note to end the episode on, but admittedly, I need to watch more TOS. I guess that's all I got to say about it. At the end of it, I'm sitting here going, what did we learn from all of this? And I mean, is it just as simple as like, yeah, you could make robots that get rid of all the quote-unquote bad parts of humanity, but you can't do that without getting rid of all the good parts too? I have to remind myself this was the 60s. You know, give them a little bit of grace. Yeah, that's what I've got. Fuck, I don't know. Newman the Space Hippie out.
Newman, just tons of salient points throughout. Again, as always, thank you so much. And there's a couple things here that I have to agree with you 100% on. First of all, the makeup on Ruck, and the feel of a TOS episode. Like, you guys, this would absolutely work as a stage play, and they would not have to change much. Like, the makeup would work on stage to make him look very gaunt and terrifying. The costumes would work on stage because the audience would be forgiving. Like, yes, it's a local theater, whatever, it's fine. Like, there's really kind of only 2 locations in this entire episode. So it really, I actually kind of like to see it as a stage play just because I think it could be done really well. Now, the other thing I'll point out here is I don't know if there is specifically a moral here other than what was just mentioned, because I think that gets closest to it. But if you take it into consideration along with episodes like Court Martial or The Ultimate Computer and like 8 other episodes of TOS, there seems to have been this general like attitude against automation and, you know, like how that can be dangerous. It can cost people jobs. It can really affect how society works. So I'm guessing that it has something to do with that. And like, you know, the introduction of greater automation into the workplace in the 60s. Like, I could see somebody, you know, on the writing staff or even Gene Roddenberry himself being like, we need to comment on this, even if we don't give it a direct, like, machine bad, people good, right? Like, there needs to be some hint of, like, let's consider this before we turn everything over to computers.
Well, this was written by Robert Bloch, who would go on to write Psycho. So he was definitely
really
the novel Psycho, I believe. Yeah. And so he was definitely curious about human psyche. I think there's a lot of really good sci-fi ideas in this episode, and I don't think a lot of them get as explored as they should, but they all have their moments. I really love the part where Korby is pleading to Christine, saying he's the same person. And
yes,
that's a classic sci-fi idea and trope. Is like, yeah, if you just transferred your consciousness into something else, are they the same person? I thought that was a great moment, and yeah, just Star Trek does love their like, oh, you know, what is great about humanity? Like, I'd say 80% of Star Trek episodes are like the search for what makes humanity special, and this is definitely falling into that.
And the answer is usually being William Shatner is what makes humanity special. Like, and okay, here's the last comment I will make on The Rock. do we think it's possible that somebody on the production team just hated Shatner and was like, watch this? Like, I am going to get him to hold the biggest dick on national television.
How could it not be? How could it not be?
Seriously?
Dicks are funny. Dicks have been funny since humans discovered that dicks get hard. They've been funny. So yeah, it's it had to be intentional.
It feels like it did.
There's sedimentary rocks. Is there something with smegamentary?
That's pretty
too
good.
far. No.
Leave it alone.
We're working on it.
Well, the stalactites are formed by slowly dripping from, right from the tip more and more over years and years. So, yeah. Wow, we're making Jesse blush like Rob on green shirt.
This is, I believe, one of the first episodes to be aired in color. Maybe specifically in the UK. But point being, thought went into the color of this rock. Like, they decided, yes, we'll light the whole thing with pinks and greens and purples, but this rock will physically be almost flesh colored when he pulls it off the ceiling. Like, and also, how strong is Kirk to just tear a rock off the wall? Or how terrible a choice of weapon is this because it's clearly very brittle rock?
Very brittle.
This rock brings up a lot of questions.
It does. It brings up a lot of things.
And my last question about this episode is, do you think that the Korby android concept will end up being connected to the Soong method, considering how similar they are, Grandpa?
Yeah, I mean, you definitely think about that in this episode. Although I was also thinking about the Institute and their synths, because I've been replaying Fallout 4 thanks to Marcy's, who you've heard earlier's podcast, Idle Ride. So check that out.
Yeah, this reminded me of the Institute and the synths, and not knowing if you are who you are, or the lurking boogeyman of just being replaced like that. It would be interesting. I don't want too much shoehorning into Soong. We're already on that tightrope with new Trek. So it's like, all right, maybe we don't need to take another step along this. We can just let each series be its own thing. But
again, I just want the archaeological medicine. Just give us that part of them.
Let's see this impressive, important man who has changed the course again of how multiple species operate their health systems in general. Like, this man has made intergalactic systemic health improvements. That's huge. That's as big as bringing whales back to save, planets. Like, that's gigantic.
3 things. I think it would be intragalactic.
Yeah.
Second of all, here's where I'll reiterate, I've also never played Fallout. And the third thing will be, oh my God, I forgot my third point.
While you're thinking of it, I know this character has become a bit too much of a trope lately, but I mean, I could definitely see Korby coming on like a Tony Stark type, like super cocky, but also extremely charming and affable, and just knows his shit. And I'd kind of like to see that version of him.
Yeah, he is affable. I would aff the heck out of that guy. I remembered my third point, which is along these lines. Go check out the completely unheralded Gary Sinise movie, Imposter.
I brought that up when we were talking. Yeah, I love Imposter.
So much fun.
Gary Sinise, Madeline Stowe, Vincent D'Onofrio. It's got a great cast, and man, that is a fantastic film. And
I want to say it's 75 minutes or maybe 80 minutes long.
Incredibly economical film. Yeah.
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 I'm really glad that we talked about this TOS episode.
I am too.
I feel like I'm learning more about both of you. I feel like you're both learning more about me, which is impressive considering we're almost 80 episodes into making Open Pike Night. And
true. Yeah.
There are plenty of episodes left to come. And man, I think I'm just happy to get over the Dick Rock hump.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, you mean the geode chode?
You just came up with that while we were recording, didn't you?
Yes. I'm just a man laying in my deathbed, dropping a big rock dick on the floor as it shatters. And the last thing I whisper is, "Rock's butt." And
John knows so much about the stuff he dislikes. You should hear how much he knows about Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Or like boats historically in general. Like, dude, John is fucking smart, you guys.
I was really humiliated that I missed the Jag one. Of course, like as soon as she said it, I was like, how did I forget that that's one they always go to?
Fucker, I missed the Goonies.
Yeah,
I was so glad you missed Jag, because then I didn't feel so bad.
Anyway, of course, we are talking about our most recently released episode of Cam's show. What is it, Cam?
Green Shirt and Newbies Trek to the Next Generation. And don't sell yourself short, John. You are the producer of said show, along with our co-hosts, Rob and Bobby. But whenever Marcy returns as a previous co-host, she does like to spot all the dildos. So if you enjoyed our inserts, another very funny nickname for that Dick Rock here, talk in this episode, go check her out.
Absolutely. And as you also heard, we had some great callers join us. Jesse, how can anybody call and get on the Open Pike Night stage?
It's so easy. Literally anyone can do it, mostly because we put no restrictions on it and it's completely free. But if you go to openpike.com, you'll see a button that says record your message. You can follow us on any social media at Open Pike. You'll see announcements there for when we need to hear from folks. You can join the Discord at, I don't even know how you do that. Maybe just go into Discord and search for Open Pike Night. I'm not a native Discord user, okay?
Let us know and we'll make sure you can find your way there.
Yep.
Or you can sign up for our newsletter at openpike.substack.com, and that call to action will come directly to your inbox for free. And, you know, I'm just going to say it. We don't spam your inbox like some other podcasts do. No, I don't have an example, but I know it happens. And we don't do that. We're not here to send you like, hey, did you remember to buy our merch? Because we don't need to do that, because you're going to do that at openpike.com because you're cool.
Absolutely. And hey, you know what? It's been a long night. We had to dig way back into the Star Trek vault to watch this masterpiece, and we got some more older new Trek. We're going to be watching some more classic Trek and Discovery episodes as we're still waiting for season 3 of Strange New Worlds. But for right now, it's been a long night, and the Open Pike Night crew, we just got a delivery of sugar and spice in the back room, and we got to go find a place to store all this before the mice get to it, or the snails, or puppy dog tails. I still have never understood that rhyme, but be sure to clean up after yourselves. Be sure to tip your servers. You can go anywhere you want, but you can't stay here.
So you know that I came up with these dick jokes by myself because I did try ChatGPT, and this is what it gave me.
Ooh.
Pecker Point, Phallic Pete, Mount Mimber, Weighing Boulder, the Danglestone, Rocky Balboner, which I just read. Actually, I missed that one.
That is not bad.
That was not bad. I should have stolen Rocky Balboner. And the Mighty Schlongstone.
Yeah, I'd say only Rocky Balboner, and what was right before that?
The Mighty Schlongstone. Oh, Weighing Boulder? Danglestone.
Danglestone is
I would
pretty
use
good.
Danglestone in day-to-day conversation.
But, yeah, but I think this proves the episode's point. Robots are not quite ready to take over mankind.
That's right. That's right.
Take that, ChatGPT.
Yeah, that's great. Rocky Balboner is good.
I literally I hadn't read that one. I was like, shit, I didn't read the one funny one.